Sounds good. The book that we're starting is Bamidbar. They also have a Chumash. It's on page 796. And the book of Bamidbar in English, it's called the Book of Numbers. I guess because we are starting with numbers, which is the famous census that was again yet given by God as a counting of the Jewish people, which it's not the first time they are being counted. They were counted after the golden calf. They were counted when God is about to dwell his presence. And something like Rashi says, something you like, you keep on counting. And this Parsha is going to talk about the Levites and their duties. And what we are going to concentrate tonight is specifically that which has to do with the encampment. Encampment is where the people camped in the desert, in the Midbar, the way they traveled, what was in a very organized, professional manner. That's why I was always surprised when my English-speaking friends kept on using the expression wandering in the desert. For 40 years, they were wandering in the desert. And I always argued they were not wandering in the desert. They were traveling through the desert in a very professional and organized manner. There was no wandering around at all.
That doesn't mean those are two mutually exclusive things.
And why?
Well, wandering means it looks like it's an aimless path. It doesn't have anything to do with.
Why? They had a GS, they had a GPS. God was showing them the way with the clouds, and they were very properly organized. And especially as we're going to see now, not only the traveling, the encampment was also very organized. And I'm only going to speak about one topic of the encampment, and this is their banners, their flags. If you turn to chapter 2, verse 1, on page 804 in the book that we are using here around our table, Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe vel Aaron Lamer. And God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, Ish al digloi beoisois leveis avoisom yachanu bnei Yisrael. The children of Israel shall encamp in such a way that each man is in his own division of 3 tribes. As we're going to see soon, what does it mean, a division of 3 tribes? In short, basically, there are 12 tribes. 12 tribes were divided into 4 divisions, and each division was carrying 3 out of the 12. So each of those divisions, each man of these own division of the 3 tribes, was signposted by a flag which contains the same color as the gemstone in the high priest's breastplate that is identified with his father's house. So basically, as we know that Aaron, the priest, used to wear one of the 8-piece garment was the choshen, the breastplate. And the choshen had 12 gems, diamonds, each one identified with his own name, as the Torah describes it in Parshat Tetzaveh in the book of Shemot. Oidem, Piteto, Borekes, Noifech, Sapir, V'yaloim, Leshem, Shvoi, V'achlomo, Tarshish, Shoyam, and Yoshvei. This is names of gems which the Torah identifies was from each tribe with a special diamond which had his name engraved on that stone on the breastplate worn by Aaron. So what the Torah says is that since each gem has his color, that was the color of the flag which represented that particular tribe. So this is number one. Number one is what we're learning over here, that there has to be an organized manner, and the way they were camping is these 4 segments or 4 divisions, And how would they divide it? So the Torah also tells us there was one group, Yehuda, Issachar, Zvulun, led by Yehuda. One was Reuven, Shimon, Gad, led by Reuven. Ephraim, Menashe, Binyamin, led by Ephraim. Dan, Asher, Naphtali, led by Dan. This is what you see in the next two verses. Verse 3. V'achoinim kedma mizracha, thus camping on the east, which is considered to be the front, walking from towards east. So east is the front, were the divisions of, what is that? Regiments of the tribes known as the camp of Yehuda. The leader of Yehuda's descendants was Nachshon, the son of Aminadav, right? That was number one. Thank you. The head count of the regiments was 74,600. And it goes on. Then you turn to verse 10. It tells you about the leader of Reuven. The south was the division of the regiments of the tribes known as the camp of Reuven. They were in the south. And then you have further down in the west, you have Ephraim, right? And then you have in the north, you have Dan. And together with them was Asher and Naphtali. So basically, there was a very clear, organized camp. You have to imagine a large camp, many, many tents, bungalows like, and there is a south, there is a west, there is a north, there is a east, and each one has a long, high pole, and it tells you three names. These are the three names right here. Those who belong to this Yehuda camp, that's where you stay, that's where you sleep, that's what you camp, that's what your family is be talking about. Not a small group of people. Men, women, and children, there was over 1 million at least, right? And 600,000 were only the age from 20 to 60. So you can imagine there were parents, there were young children.
So probably 3 million people.
3 million. Okay.
It's a lot of tents.
A lot of tents, but it was clear where you belong. Now, on each one of those so-called flags, on those banners, it says Degel. In English, they translate the word Degel, a division, but the word Degel literally means a flag. Even in Hebrew today, Degel Israel, Degel America, every country has its flag. Sport groups have their flag. And usually when you lift up and you carry a flag, you are identifying with that, what the flag represents. What? You're identifying with what the flag represents. That flag was literally a piece of cloth, a colored piece of cloth. And they had actually images on those clothes. It wasn't just the colors. Rashi says about the colors. Rashi says very clearly, the color of one tribe was not similar to the color of another tribe. Every tribe had its own color, its identifying color. There wasn't two similar colors. Every flag, every piece of cloth was colored in its own way, which, as Rashi said, we saw before already in the translation, that the colors were identified, were symbolizing the choshen, the breastplate gem. But as it's brought down in the Medrash and all the commentaries they share, that there was actual images in those colors, in those flags. And I had the privilege, before I learned Medrash, to know those images because my mother, Rosain Gesund, is a artist. She's a teacher of arts and crafts, now coming up to 60 years a teacher. in the same school, same position. And she used to always work and painting and doing art. And she created for our sukkah in our home 12 flags made out of copper, a copper piece with a banner on the side, like a stick holding it, with the 12 tribes of Israel, which was actually hanged in the sukkah very beautifully. And every name of the tribe was written, but also the images which the Midrash tells us was colored into that flag. The Midrash says like this: that Reuven had flowers representing the flowers, the dudaim, that Reuven brought for his mother, for Leah. That's how he tried to, sorry, for, tried to get Leah. And so that, that thing. Shimon had the city of Shem because they were the ones who attacked Shem after trying to violate their sister Dinah. Levi had the Urim Vetumim, the chest plate, the breastplate was inscribed on his flag. Yehuda had a lion image. Issachar had the sun and the moon. Why? Because Issachar is the ones who were the people who calculated the calendar. And they were the wise learners who knew how to calculate a calendar. So that's why the symbol of their flag was Shemesh ve'Yareach, the sun and the moon. Zvulun and a boat, because Yaakov says that, you are dwelling by the boats. Dan and a snake, because that was his father blessed them and compared them in the blessings to the 12 sons. God at a camp. Again, in Yaakov's blessing, he is described as the one God Gedud Yegudenu, where the army soldiers are all camping. Naphtali at a ram, again in Jacob's blessing. Asher at a olive tree, because he was also blessed with oil. Joseph had an image of the country of Egypt, and he had actually two flags combined, which was Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim had the image of an ox, because Joseph was compared to an ox, and that refers to Yeshua ben Nun, who was a descendant of Ephraim, who was with the strength of an ox. And Manasseh also had a ram, which is Joseph's horns. It's like compared to the horns of a ram, right? Binyamin had a wolf. Binyamin Zevitrov. So clearly those flags were very much identifying the tribes, either with some of the indications, with some of the images that their father Yaakov blessed them, or with something which appeared in their past history, like Shimon with the city of Shem, or even their future inheritance in Israel. But that was the color of the flags. So that's whole idea of the flags is obviously a very interesting discussion, and clearly was to create practically identification of who you identify with, who do you belong, which is interesting. We always talk about unity, the nation of Israel, Am Yisrael, a collective people, one nation under one God is Israel. I mean, it's borrowed in America, but the idea really comes from the idea. Am Yisrael, Goy Echad Ba'aretz, one nation in the earth. That's the many verses which talks about us being one. Unity, especially as we are standing now before Shavuot, which is going to be next week. tonight. So on Shavuot, when the Jewish people received the Torah, the verse talks about the preparation days to Shavuot. When it comes to the day they arrived at Sinai, what does it say? Vayichan Sham Israel neged Ahar. That the Jewish people camped facing the mountain. And Rashi points out, in the name of the Medrash, obviously, that the Jewish people had camped 42 times through their journey. In the end of this book of Bamidbar, the Torah mentions all the 42 times they camped. And yet, always the term is vayachanu, which means, and they camped, which is an expression of camping in the plural. The only place where it says vayichan in the singular is when they came to the desert of Sinai. And Rashi says this is a very historical moment that the Jewish people were actually like one. No quarrels, no fights, no divisions. They were like Ish echad belev echad, one people, one heart. It happened once. It happened once. And it's being celebrated and mentioned and specified, even as the verse expresses the encampment. And yet, regardless of the importance and the emphasis of unity, here somehow it seems that the Torah is putting a bigger emphasis on division, where you belong, what color is your flag, what image is your flag, what type of which part of the camp are you? There is no like, it's okay, we are Ashkenazi, we are also Sephardic, we are also Breslov, we are also Chabad, we are also Misnagdim, we are also this. No, no, no. Tell me who you are. Don't mix me up in a whole bunch. Is that what unity represents? I mean, is that the way we should have been? Sages tell us, and Rashi makes it very clear. Yes, you have to know where you belong. You have to know your your area. You have to know your place, and you have to know what is expected from you. Especially if you talk about from a Hasidic point of view, meaning from Hasidic philosophy, the 12 names of the 12 tribes is not just names of different kids. 12 kids. One is Reuben, one is Shimon. Each name represents a unique way in serving God according to my identification, according to my approach. Reuven, why was he named Reuven? Reuven, see, there is a son, right? So the name of Reuven represents seeing. Shimon, Shama, Hashem listened. So the name Shimon represents hearing, listening. Levi means escorting. Yehuda means acknowledgement. So these names is different philosophical directions in developing your life, in your relationship with God. Seeing something means that you are very close to it. You see it. It's ensured. Hearing something is more from afar. I heard something. So the Kabbalah talks about Shimon being more concentrated on the awe of fearing God, like something which is higher and transcends you. Reuven was more in the idea of kindness, of love, closeness, because that's what seeing represents. Levi was more involved in studying Torah because it's like escorting. You like escort God, becoming one with them, with his knowledge. You want to understand them. Yehuda is more about prayer because the acknowledgement is Hoidul Hashem, Moidim Anachnu Loch. Right? Prayer is a big important aspect of prayer is acknowledgement. So that's the name Yehuda. So every tribe is not just a tribe and another family member in this big family called Jacob's children. Every tribe is truly representing an idea, a path that is unexchangeable with somebody else. And sometimes This is the way you are meant to be. There's a famous Hasidic saying. There was a great disciple of the Maggid of Mizrich. His name was Reb Zusha Anipoli. Reb Zusha Anipoli. He was the brother of Rebbe Elimelech of Lizhensk. This is from the early stages. And there's a lot of beautiful sayings in the name of Reb Zusha, a very beloved teacher and humble person. So one of the statements they always say in the name of Reb Zusha, that Reb Zusha said that I am not afraid coming up there after 120. They're going to ask me, why weren't you like Moses? I will say, because I wasn't Moses. Why weren't you like Maimonides or like Rabbi Akiva? Because I was not Rabbi Akiva and I was not Maimonides. So that kind of question doesn't it doesn't interfere, doesn't bother me, doesn't threaten me. You know what I'm afraid of? Zusha said. Gonna ask me, Zusha, why weren't you Zusha? Oh, that's not a good answer. Why was Zusha not Zusha? Meaning, the question is not, the question is not, like we say, what did you accomplish? What did you accomplish? Were you like Moses? Were you like Akiva? That's not the question. The question is what? How did you accomplish your mission? How? You were Zusha. How did you be Zusha? Were you Zushaing or not? Were you being Zusha? If your name was Zusha, you were expected to be like Zusha. That's what you want to know. What did you do? Were you like Lubavitcher Rebbe? It was like the Baal Shem Tov. I wasn't the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I wasn't the Baal Shem Tov. Did I give tzedakah $1,000,000? I never made $1,000,000. I didn't know what $1,000,000 looks like. What do you want from me? But were you Mordechai Farkash? Whatever you had, more you expected to contribute. That means carrying your own banner. That means carrying your own color flag. That means you're carrying your own gem, your own diamond. It means your own tribe. This is what I have to do. This is what they expect from me. Sometimes we speak about peace and unity, and the whole concept becomes so lost in the ideal, so to speak, term of peace that we kind of lose purpose. You know, there's actually the previous Lubavitch Rebbe. I saw a talk that he was giving by a Fabrengen, a gathering on Simchas Torah, 1927. Simchas Torah 1927 is the Simchas Torah, the last Simchas Torah that the Rebbe was in Russia, meaning he was already imprisoned in the summer of 1927. He was already released from prison with the condition that he has to leave Russia, and he was going to move from Russia to Latvia, to Riga. But it took time to organize matters, so his scheduled departure was a couple days after Simchas Torah of 1927. We spent it in St. Petersburg, then called Leningrad, is where the Rebbe was. And from all over, Hasidim came, be knowing that this is maybe the last time for many of them. It was the last time they saw the previous Rebbe. The iron curtain closed behind them, and they never made it out. For example, Rabbi Levitin, his father, always related that he was a young child. It wasn't even a bar mitzvah yet, but he remembers coming to spend Simchas Torah in Leningrad with his father, who was then out of jail, to be the last Simchas Torah with the Rebbe. Happened to be later, he also figured out how to get out of Russia himself, also to Riga, by the way, where he came to America, Rabbi Levitin's father. I'm not talking about his grandfather, his father, Rabbi Binyamin. So there is a protocol, so to speak, of the talk that the previous Rebbe spoke of Simchas Torah. you know, it was a very happy, but not too happy Simchas Torah, knowing that the Rabbi is living. And one of the things I was very surprised when I saw it is admonishing the teachers in the yeshiva. There are two groups of teachers in every Chabad yeshiva. There are the teachers who their job is responsible for teaching the Talmud, so-called the revealed aspect of Torah. And there are teachers who they are responsible for Hasidic philosophy, Hasidut. So usually Hasidut be learned in the morning, an hour and a half in the morning before prayer. In the regular yeshiva, where all my kids go, I went. They wake up, they study about an hour and a half to 2 hours Hasidut, then they pray. Prayer is not the first thing. In Chabad, they study spirituality as a part of the yeshiva schedule. But they learn Hasidus, then they pray around 9:30, it depends on school. Then they have breakfast, and Gemara starts around 10:30. In the evening, it also 2 hours, the last 2 hours of the day is Hasidut. And there is different teachers who teach Hasidut, and different teachers who teach Gemara. So what does the previous Rebbe say? The last Simchas Torah in Leningrad, I am very unpleased with the peace and the unity which exists between the Gemara teachers and the Hasidic teachers. What does he like? What happened? He was expecting there should be a fight between them. What's the fight? The teachers who teach you Gemara should try to make sure that you completely involved in the Gemara, that they would come to the teachers of Hasidut and say, why is he learning extra time Hasidut? He's supposed to be in front of the Talmud tractor. And the teachers who teach Hasidut should have come to the teachers who teach Gemara and say, what's going on over there? They spend some extra time Gemara while they should have been studying Hasidut. Have a little fight between them. He says, what's going on over here? Too much peace, too much unity. I don't like it. The Rebbe said. I don't see it. Everybody's like compromising, so to speak, with the other. Want to learn more Gemara, learn more Gemara. Want to learn more Hasidut. That's not the way it should be. If this is your responsibility, and that's what you are in charge of, you should demand 100% commitment to what you are meant to teach. And if the Hasidut guy owes the student a little, extra time in class, he should come in and bang on the table and said, not right, I want you all to the Gemara, and vice versa. So the idea is that we talk about peace, and everybody wants to have a wheel of Shulam. Okay, I used to have over here, just a lady came into Shul before, the Badas yard side. Their parents were from the old timers, the short Moshe and his wife. They spoke a good Yiddish, very good Yiddish. And they always used to finish a conversation. No, Shulam of the Welt. In Yiddish, it's like a Hebrew word really. It means peace. There should be peace in the world. That's what people wish each other. Shulam of the Welt. It works like this. Not always can be, and this is basically what the tells me in the Medrash. That was the flag. More like an expressing the individual in the state of unity. You have to be nice to each other and respectful, but this is what the flags represent in one end. But then comes Hasidus and puts an interesting twist around this whole thing by quoting a Medrash. The Medrash actually has to do with Shavuot. The Medrash is in this week's Parsha, in Medrash Bamidbar, and also in Shir HaShirim. There is a verse in Shir HaShirim which mentions the term degel. In chapter 2, Shir HaShirim, it says, Eviani Amelech, Eviani el Bet Hayayin, he brought me into the house of wine, Vediglo alay ahava, and his flag and his banner was a banner of love. Shir Hashirim is obviously written like a metaphor, like a parable. And the Medrash tells us what happened. What is it? What is King Solomon referring to? What is the meaning behind this verse? And the Medrash says, when Hashem came to give the Torah, there were 220,000 angels who came with God down to Mount Sinai. There's actually the pasuk, Rechev Elokim Ribotayim Alpeim Shinan Bam Sinai Bakodesh. There's a verse in Tehillim, chapter 68. I can read it to you. I'm not sure in English. Give the Tehillim there a second. On top the blue one. This is yeah. On the right. The blue on the right. No.
Well, this is the Russian one.
There is English there. No, bring me an English one. It's English? Yes. Here, look what it says over here. Thank you. Chapter 68. Let me read you, see how the English translation tries to figure out a verse without the medrash. It says like this. A bit of Samachet. Verse 18. This is the old chapter which talks about, by the way, the giving of the Torah. A lot of verses of here talk about the giving of the Torah. And it says, Rechev Elokim Rebosai, you ascended on high. No. This is verse 19. Verse 18. Oh, the chariot of God are twice 10,000 with thousands of angels. My Lord in their midst, at Sinai in holiness. Okay. Angels, God in the midst, at Sinai. Something with angels. The Medrash says the word that is being used is Alfi Shinon Hashem Bom Sinai Bakoish. So basically, the Medrash teaches us from different other verses that the way the angels appeared to the Jewish people, that they came in camps, holding banners, flags. I guess a spiritual image of a flag. And when the Jewish people saw it, says the Medrash, they became very jealous. Wow, this is amazing. How can we get those flags? How can we be organized like them? And because they desired it so much, Hashem tells Moses, what we read before in the Parsha, tell the Jewish people, when they are camping in the desert, they are going to camp according to the divisions. Each tribe is going to have his flag. This is one medrash, a second medrash, all kinds of verses which talk about degel, diglu. Degel means a flag. And the question is, what were the people so jealous? The other Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, the Tzemach, all the Rebbes are trying to understand what was the jealousy of the angels. First of all, souls are not jealous of angels. Because even though the angels now are in a world of spirituality, a soul is greater than an angel. A neshama is more than a malach, more than an angel. An angel is stationed in his level, cannot grow more than what he was created for. A soul can always ascend and get higher and stronger and greater. Neshamas are always greater than angels. We need the angels to assist us because they are closer. They polish our prayers. They deliver it to God. Angels. My mother used to always, when somebody fell in the house or somebody heard herself, the first words came out from her mouth was, "Oi, gute malachim." Remember that? Gute malachim. Good angels. Like the angels said, They make sure that when you fall, you don't trip and bang yourself and hurt yourself too much. Angels. And yet, here, the Jewish people are jealous of the angels. So Chassidus says they weren't jealous of the angels. They were jealous on what the angels showed them that they had, and they wanted to have the same thing. What did they have? They had flags. And when they saw the flag, they say, we want flags. And we're trying to understand what is so great about the flag. So here comes something interesting, which is a little different than what we spoke earlier, but we're going to bring it together. Our sages tell us that the angels, the way the angels are organized, they came with a flag, which each flag represented them and other angels as well. What do I mean by that? It's being compared to what happened to the chariot envisioned by Ezekiel, which is, by the way, something also we're going to read on Shavuot. That's the Haftorah on Shavuot. We read about the mysterious chariot envisioned by Ezekiel the prophet. And he sees four images. He sees the image of a man, the image of a lion, of an eagle, and of an ox, right? Those four images all had a sub-image. It wasn't just, there was the man, and it was the lion, and the lion also had a man image in it. But the verse says, and the eagle and the eagle image plus a man image, meaning it was a combination of different types of angels joining in one division. So our sages tell us when the Jewish people saw the concept of inclusiveness, that you have different angels are able to coexist with other angels, that was their excitement. That's what they said, wow, that's what we need. Why? Why is it so special to be include yourself with somebody else? Because really, when let's say somebody's personality is kindness, and someone's personality is severity, let's say the angel Michael, who is represented usually of kindness, and the angel Gabriel, who represents severity, it's very difficult to have them join together. Because it's two opposites, like fire and water. How do you bring them both together? When you are revealing an energy which is stronger and greater than both of them, something which transcends them both. So because of his strength and his greatness, he can nullify those two towards his greatness. That's what the verse says. Shalom God who makes peace in his heavens. The Gemara says, what kind of peace is there in heaven? Who is fighting? Bimromav means on height. Oseh Shalom, Hashem makes peace, and we ask that the same peace that we create above, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. What peace is there above? Says the Gemara. Michael, Sar Shel Mayim. Gabriel, Sar Shel Esh. What is water, what is fire? And naturally, when fire meets water, what happens? Either the fire gets extinguished by the fire, by the water, or the water evaporates by the fire. But they don't coexist. How do they coexist together? You take a pot, and the pot gets filled with water, and as long as it separates the water from the fire, then they impact each other, but then you create a separation. Up there, you don't need a separation. What do you need? You need something which is higher than water and higher than fire, And when the fire and the water are met in front of that greatness, they both nullify their personal existence and they become something else, which allows somebody else to coexist with them.
Cloud.
That's called what?
Cloud. Become a cloud.
A cloud. You become a you become selfless. That's what you become. And when you're selfless, you can join somebody else. It's called bittul. That's what Michael and Gabriel are. And what the Jewish people saw in the term used in Hasidut is hitkalelut. Literally means inclusiveness. They realized there is a possibility of inclusiveness. So they asked God, we want to have this. And that's what they got. Because the flags that you remember is not a single flag in a division for yourself. The flag, each flag had three divisions, three colors, three people sharing a similar flag, different colors, but on the same flag. One is led by Reuven, one is led by Ephraim. The four divisions that we read before for the Psukim is four divisions, but at the same time, four inclusive divisions of three in each. Three is usually the number of inclusiveness. You have the right, you have the left, you have the center, which combines them both. This is usually reflected by the number three, right? That's what three represents. And the divisions were a three-segment division. It wasn't that the 12 tribes were broken into 12 parts. It was to four camps, the verse said, right? It was four camps. It wasn't 12 camps. The idea of four camps means that each camp had to integrate with somebody else. The integration of three tribes, which are literally different from each other in their way they serve God. Like we said before, each tribe has its own way of serving Hashem. Here they came in a way of togetherness and integration. That was the harmony which coexisted between them. That was the desire that the Jewish people had when they saw the angels organized in that manner at the giving of the Torah. And that's why the verse talks about flags and the reward for the flags, that they were also granted flags, is really not a flag of divisiveness, but a flag of inclusiveness. But this is really the truth. The real inclusiveness is based on recognizing divisiveness. It's very easy to come and dominate someone and say, don't be who you are. Be like me, because we're all going to be equal. There was a country not too long ago called the former Soviet Union. And they had a party which ran the country called communism. And they had a very beautiful ideal called equality. You're all going to be the same. Everyone's going to be equal. But equal the way I want you to be equal. Equal to me. Equal to Lenin. Equal to Stalin. That's equal. That's called control. That's called dominate. That's called losing your identity. Losing your identity. The idea of the tribes is to be inclusive. Three in each division. But it's three. And not only three colors, three stones. Oidem, Pitedo, Borekes, Neufer, Sapir, Veyaloim, Leshem, Shvoi, Vachlomor, Tarshish, Shoyam, Yoshvei. It's not getting bubbled into one cholent. Beans and barley and meat and eggs and what else is getting in there? Who knows?
The breastplate has.
The breastplate, the same idea. There's 12 gems, but carried on the same heart. One single heart. The heart of whom? Aaron. The Noso Aliboy, Aaron the high priest, is one. We don't have 12 tribes walking around, 12 priests, each one with a gem. There are 12, but displayed into one breastplate. In one breastplate. And really, this is what the verse says. If you look back to the verse, and it says on verse 2, Ishal digloi beoisois lebeis avoisom yachadu bnei Yisrael. The children of Israel are to be camping, each one according to his own division. Mineged soviv leoyel moed yachadu. They should encamp around the tent of meeting, at a distance, but around the tent of meeting. What is the idea over here? There is one thing which we center around. We have 4 different divisions, and each division is also compiled of 3 compartments. But we are centered about the one thing. The 4 camps, it was a large 4 camps, but everything was, where is east, where is west, where do you belong? There is a point in the center called the tent of meeting, which is the Mishkan. The biggest and ultimate item in the Mishkan was the ark. The ark carried the Luchot, the Torah. This is the centerpiece that everything centers around. So here the verse says, starts up, each one with his flag, centered around the one item, just like the breastplate. Which means, in other words, you can be Sephardic, and you can be Ashkenazic, and you can be Chassid, and you can be this ideal and that ideal, and on this side of the political part of the map, and this side of the political part of the map. But we have something which we center around. If we have a Torah that we center, the only thing we can center around is the Torah. It's the only truth. So if we center around the Torah, then we are integrated with each other. Don't lose your identity. Identify yourself with your identity centered around the same points, and then I don't negate your identity. I am not looking to destroy you or to get rid of you, or you should become like me. You know, but the Rebbe sent emissaries to Morocco. There was the first emissaries, 1950. When the Rebbe became Rebbe, the first was to Morocco. This is all printed letters. The Rebbe told them to make sure that the Moroccan Jews are continuing to pray in the Moroccan Nusach. Don't make them daven Chabad. Don't make it Baruch Ato. If they say Baruch Atah, let them Baruch Atah. This is the idea. This is Am Yisrael. As long as you recognize, you can have sometimes a concert, and you have a musical space, one of the best musical displays, and you have drums, and you have guitars, and you have you name it, instruments after instruments. And then you have the guy with the 2
Symbols.
cymbals, right? Maybe 3 or 4 times in an hour is gonna go, not more. He's not standing there all night going jum jum jum, ring a bell. He's going to do. He was hired in event training that in an hour is going to have an opportunity, a chance to maybe 3, maybe 4 times, and suddenly it's going to go. And he's a major part and player in that display. Huh? That is skill, but not only is skill, that's what he's expected to do. And he's not looking to do it more than 4 times, because then he's killing the whole show. The whole idea is we need you at that moment. Don't try to convince them, come on, you're doing so great, come on, keep it doing it. So it sounds like services at ETC. That is the point. And this is what unity is all about. carry your flag together with others. Skalalus.
So the
Be there.
flags were really just to show uniqueness of each tribe.
Uniqueness while being part of a full tribe. That's the whole idea. And like Chassidus says, that all started, this whole idea of the flags started because they got so excited when they saw inclusiveness, because they realized that's the main point. To be inclusive, it's only when you acknowledge a greater purpose. When you are on yourself and selfish, and you don't recognize something higher, so why would I include myself with you? Why should I be you? It's I, and you are you. Sometimes I think there's a saying of the Rabbi of Kotsk. The Rabbi of Kotsk said like this: if I am I because you are you, because you is you, then I am not I, and you are not you. If I am I because I am I, then I am I, and you are you. That's the word. With that in mind, I'm going to wish you all a very good Shabbos. Next week, class is going to be on Wednesday night, the night before the holiday, Bezrat Hashem, and reminding everyone that on Thursday night next week is the holiday of Shavuot. We're going to have our night learning starting at midnight, go to dawn. We're going to have our beautiful Friday Ten Commandments reading with a beautiful Kiddush, dairy, and bagels, just like at Sinai, and then followed by Shabbos. So we're looking forward to see you all joining us, even the unregulars. Come to be in Shul, be together just like at Sinai. Yom Tov, Laila Tov, Shabbat Shalom.
This Shabbos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. These Shabbos,
The Trump Shabbos, that I'd be always using.
these Shabbos, Bezrat Hashem, it looks like that David Schneider is always keeping Shabbos except this coming Shabbos because he doesn't want to identify with the
Any political.
movement. Okay, you can come take his place.
He's opposed.
Keep Shabbos, have fun, regardless. God told us about Shabbos before anybody else told us. We are not worried about it. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like he did with the.
Oh, dear. Sure. Yeah, he's so intimidating. All right, so let's see what's next. What are you doing? I was looking up something. Oh, yeah, I want to see what they're talking about. Don't look at your phone, that's the easiest way. I don't know if it's that. Okay. Let's see. Oops. World Zionist Organization. Well, that is a big thing. I made that for sure. 100%. Yeah. Well, trying to give me do no notifications. So let's do it. That is it. Put in your pocket. All right. Now I walk it up and see the one. Mariners 183. Yeah. Yeah, we're done.
Okay, so I got a Montreal State seasoning that says February 2nd, 2027. No, 2020. 2028.
That's interesting. I just got shocked the heck out of the U.S. on
Yes, I will. Oh, okay, so yeah. Oh, are you ready?
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Oh, you can't see.
That is it. You have to walk him. See what he did? Well, pieces to get out, right? Otherwise, he's gonna take it. If there's no other escape, you gotta take him. That's the only option. And if no one can, so if use it against him. Yeah, or um, this is bullshit. He's no beginner. He's not good like him anyway. He's having a rook. No, he's not. He can't threaten me either. He can threaten me. Yeah, see, you can't.
Okay, then, I got my coat on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, should I bring a beverage?
Might as well. I can't see any reason not to.
But, okay, so my phone, I got it. And I'll need my handle bag. Handle.
So Weather Pup said
Handle.
Friday and Saturday are Grizzly, and then Sunday and Monday are sunny, and then Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday is cloudy, and Tuesday and Wednesday are sunny. Something like that. So hopefully it won't be too drizzly once you get out on the road. Get a little further south.
Okay, so do that. Yeah. I got a lot of it off of the. Cause that was a whole lot of. Yep. And then my cell phone, I got the cell phone, I got the, and I got the car keys. I got my car keys. So.
Set my coat perfectly.
Oh. I guess I still forgot.
Now I'm having trouble with sound, but I think I got it. Now see, it's real good bad.
Domo is from. Oh,
Okay. What's it saying? They're pairing. See, it's trying to pair with it, and it won't pair. And it's the same thing that one did. Maybe it's the placement. But could be my basing it. I mean, all right, come on. Though, I don't know if it's ever actually worked itself out after tell me to wait. I'll try to color my things. Oh, the other thing I think I used to do with this is go. The other thing I can do if I can find it, the other remote, I can just switch to TV to regular sound and not the sound bar. Used to do that when I really got stuck. At least we'd have sound. Where is it though? Oh, that might be it. No, this is it, LG. Remember it was that big. Okay, we'll have this in a second. We'll do this way. We'll go to LG. This is the LG, right? Yeah. But now I think what we gotta do is we gotta go. This doesn't look good. No, that's the LG soundbar, not the LG TV. Oh, okay. The LG part threw me off. As I know what it looks like, it's probably, yeah, there it is on the ground over here. Person up in the grabber stick. Hooks it with a drumstick. Yeah, actually. There we go. What else I should just do? I knew that remote wasn't the right one. Okay, I need. Audio, it's always on that setting because that's where I go. There we go. TV speakers on. Let's say off or on now.
For, TV speakers.
Yeah.
It says on.
Okay. So now we're ready. Good work now. Yeah.
To change that.
Over the last 3 years, I've kind of fallen down the wells of sneakers research because I wanted to bring sneaker culture into bowling.
Belmo capitalized on his superstar status and produced his own shoe, unmistakably reminiscent of a legend, which might make you wonder if footwear tied to on-lane success is very famously postulated by the esteemed Mars Black.
Money's gotta be the shoe. Here in Australia, I was born, fade away, all the way, all Australia, going to Australia.
Now, if you couldn't tell from his accent, Belmo is from Australia, where they call bowling 10-pin bowling. And here he is showing off the bowling alley his parents bought when he was just a baby. Yep, just like E.J. Tackett. Now, because of Belmo's endorsement deals and the fact that he's won more majors than any other bowler in history by a lot, it means he can afford something other bowlers can't. Beyond a nice house and 200 pairs of Nikes, he can take time off, which is why he didn't think twice to skip this year's Pete Weber Classic and return home to New South Wales, Australia, where he's been a bit of a celebrity dating back to when he was a kid.
Meet Jason Belmonte. His highest score was 259 and his results are consistent, and all from such humble beginnings.
Dad said when you were just born, like 18 months, I started bowling my first ball.
Well, when my parents built a bowling centre, neither of them were bowlers. It was purely this crazy idea for a business. Bowling in my hometown was new. No one knew how to do it. And I'm this 18-month-old kid, and I want to bowl. And so I would just do my best to carry it and kind of, throw it down the lane with two hands. It was really soon thereafter that I was able to do something that no one else in town was doing, and that was create this hook. Everybody that bowled traditionally would bowl really, really straight. I was just curving the whole lane as like a 4, 5, 6-year-old, and that made me different, but it was cool.
Jason Belmonte is a rarity in 10-pin bowling, as is his bowling style.
It's been one of the wildest things to see how many people are bowling two-handed and double-handed. When I was a rookie, almost no one does it. To today, where